The Quran paints a very different picture of what unity looks like. It's not driven by an activity. It's not driven by a giant Eid prayer. And I laugh and cry at the same time every year when I hear people arguing about which day should we celebrate Eid. Because we should be united celebrating it on the same day. And I look at that discussion and I say, really? If all of us were celebrating Eid on the same exact day, that would be unity to you? Those 20 minutes? That's what unity is? You don't even know that the person you're praying next to, their family members in the hospital. You don't know. You don't even know this this woman just lost her business, or this one just lost their dad, or this one just, lost their job, or this one's going through a health crisis, or this one's going through, you don't know. So what's the unity? A picture that shows lots of people standing together? That's unity. We have artificial, meaningless, I would argue, artificial and meaningless standards of unity. And that's why when we complain that we don't have unity, our complaint is also meaningless. It's the same as what I mentioned before. You're standing in front of a field, nothing is growing, and you're like, hey, there's nothing growing here. Wow, how come it's not there already for me? It should already exist and I could just walk into a garden. No. Unless you're ready to be the gardener, there's nothing to complain about. One of the most common things you hear from men, the feelings that you get from men, everybody needs something from me. My family needs something from me. My parents need something from me. My kids need something from me. My wife needs something from me. My in-laws need something from me. My boss needs something from me. My community needs something from me. Everybody needs something. And take it a step further, when in many families, people depend on you. They depend on you. You're providing, for example, right? And then all of a sudden you get sick and you lose your job. Not only do you lose your job, you lose your respect in the family. People don't look at you the same way anymore. Nobody calls you, and they used to call you all the time. They don't call you anymore. In fact, they're avoiding you as best as possible. You know why? Because all of a sudden you went from someone who was giving to someone who might be asking. So let's stay away from someone who might be asking. If this is the condition even inside of our families, what do you imagine is the condition when we expand that a little bit to a level of a community? What happens then? What happens when people feel nobody actually cares about them? And we happen to live in a society. Let me tell you something that you already know about the United States. This is the poster child of capitalism. And capitalism is nobody cares about you. You got to care for yourself. Nobody's coming for you. So we already breathe capitalism in every day. And on top of that, in your personal lives, in our community lives, it's demonstrated over and over again that even though there is some level of camaraderie between us, salam and dua between us, it doesn't go past formalities. It's not actual brotherhood. Here's the litmus test for what real brotherhood looks like. If I'm really going through a crisis, if there's something terrible I'm going through, is there someone I can call immediately? Who would I think of calling immediately? And if you have those people in your life, then you have some level of brotherhood in your life. Let's take even another step. Take another step. There are people in our community, young men, older men, that fail. Failure is a part of life. You fail in an exam. It happens. You fail in a job interview. It happens. You can also fail in your deen. Some young man can go through some depression and start drinking alcohol. It happens. This occurs. Somebody might end up in haram situations, might go down a path, drugs, alcohol, you name it, all of it, the worst of it. And they could keep going down and keep going down. You know what? When they fall, if you had a family member, if you were walking with your child and your child fell, what would you do? You would just pick them up, scrape them off, help heal. If you put some Band-Aid on, put some antiseptic on. Let's heal this person. Let's fix them. What happens in our communities, in our circles, when somebody falls? Oh my God. Astaghfirullah. Look at the youth nowadays. You know what I found out? Abdul Karim, you know what he's doing? I saw him coming out of this place, or I saw him doing this. I saw inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Bro, somebody should talk to him. You know what that is? That person may be doing a sin. I would argue you're doing a much bigger sin. You're doing if that is a crime against Allah, You running your mouth about the dignity of your fellow brother to other people, and then saying astaghfirullah as if you genuinely care. Because if you genuinely cared, number one, your mouth would be shut. And the only time it would open is to go reach out to him and give him a hug and say, hey, I'm here for you if you ever need to talk, and it will die with me. That would be you as a brother. That would be you as a brother. But that's not brotherhood. This whole, I'm so concerned about our youth and artificial conversation. This is not brotherhood. This is, I don't know what that is. Backstabbing at least. That's what that is. But that's the reality that we've created for ourselves. And then we have the audacity to say, why isn't the Ummah united? The billions of us. Man, can you show me a dozen of us united? How about 2 dozen? How about a couple of hundred? Before we talk about billions of people being united.